everybody's attention. A round of applause.
My name is Lindsay, Huddleston. I'm a sports psychology consultant. My organization is Sports Psychology Solutions, SBS. I have media credentials. I cover college and high school basketball and football. I'll talk to you about that in a second. I'm really happy to be here today. I feel like I know most of you guys that I've been watching. My guy Orlando posts these great pictures all week long, and I'm very impressed with what I've been seeing. The only request I'll make of you is to continue to stay locked in on me for this time, and also Coach Sue as well when she comes up, because when we come give our time, we're giving of ourselves, you know. So I've been seeing great focus from you guys, from the pictures. Like part of my job, I have to be able to look at a video or a picture and read your body language to give you the feedback, and I've been getting that. So I don't want to over-compliment you guys too much now and lose you, but I've been very impressed. I want to continue this going. Also, I do welcome questions. I'm not trying to brag, but I just want you to know I come from the same place you guys come from. I grew up on 7 Mile and Field, right? Y'all familiar with that? Is it something like that? Okay. Well, Detroit, how about that? I always say the alumni of my sandbox is drug dealers, murderers, and college graduates. So for me to be able to navigate where I'm at and to be going to places I've gone, if I could, I'll show you a picture of me and President Obama. For me being involved in politics, I was in Governor Granholm's administration. But also I can show you a picture with me and Muhammad Ali. So my passion was politics, but it really was about education and giving back. So after life in politics and corporate America and being very successful, I made a decision. You guys are going to end up making this decision one day in your life too. And now you get to the point where you got to say, well, what do I really want to do with the next part of my life? My daughter was born, my wife and I were married. We're not married anymore, but I was like, what do I want to do for my daughter now? She's 9 years old now, and I'm so glad I made the decision to leave corporate America to follow my passion, to get back to how I can help you guys. Because what I found, dealing with the politics, the bills being signed and all that, nobody was thinking about you guys. Nothing was about you. Hell, even right now with NCAA and all these mergers, nobody's talking about student athletes. That's another conversation. So I told myself, if I can make 6 figures for this company, if I got out and hustle on my own, I can make 7 on my own. So I say that to say, don't ever let a job dictate your life. Don't ever let family say, oh, you're making a lot of money, you got to stay there. Now, maybe you're hard hustle when you step out, when you start coaching. It's not millions raining from the sky, correct? Right, but it's a passion, and you love what you do, and I want you guys to remember that. So let's get right to it. The new face of mental toughness, that you guys can see right here, is faces that look just like you. Anaya and Simone Biles. Their public challenges was a breakthrough for you young ladies. Because now, instead of people saying, oh, you're not tough, you need to toughen up, people are willing to take your mental health into consideration. The reality is that we all have trauma. We all have trauma from past life experiences. We all have trauma from what we hear. I grew up in Detroit, but I live in East Lansing now. I can trip because I don't hear gunshots. I'm not knocking my city, but you know, it can get hot. You know, you hear these sounds going off, and these are not fireworks, and it's not 4th of July. That's an AK-47. I know that sounds specifically being a former Marine. So I say we get so used to things that when I got to East Lansing, and I wouldn't hear fire engines or ambulances, it unsettled me. But that was part of my trauma. That's part of what we deal with. But for you young ladies in particular, one thing I want you to get away from this is that I want you to have a comfort by hearing someone like me speak, that when most of you transition, go on to the next level, whether it's playing at a great institution like Siena Heights or wherever you may go, you're going to have a comfort level and say, you know what, I'm not really feeling myself. I want to seek some help. Particularly in the African American community or minority communities, we suppress that. We have issues going on, but we're told to suppress it. We're told not to talk about it, and this has been passed down from grandma and them, and how that goes. And we've had issues happen, whether it's sexual assault, whether there's other issues that's taking place that we're wrestling with and we're trying to compartmentalize, and it's affecting us in some way or form. So body language is one thing, ladies, as much as you try, you cannot hide. Yeah? You can't. You can say, no, that's like saying you're invisible and you're standing right there. We can see it. We know what to look for. It may be in your eyes, it may be in your movement. So I'm telling you, instead of trying to mask these things, feel confident that Simone Biles and Anaya have kind of gone through the ceiling for you guys and going to your coach and say, Coach, I'm not really feeling myself right now. Can we talk about it? And I think all coaches now, even if they weren't really of the mind, even Tom Izzo, we've had some hard cards. If you guys go on my YouTube channel, you can find an interview, one of the many interviews Tom and I did, where he admits, Lindsay, I really wasn't into the mental toughness and the mental health part, but now I get it more and more. So everyone is coming around right now. So if you are not feeling yourself or need to talk, don't try to suppress it. That's not helping you. And when you transition to a college campus or something like that, seek out someone like me. When you're trying to make a decision on what school you want to go to, beyond a glamour and glitz, pose this question. What type of mental health support do you guys offer? But check this out, because guess what? When you transition, you're going to have an issue. Your issue may just be homesick. I left Henry Ford High School. I was class president, student council president, Detroit Citywide student council president, youth governor. Really popular, right? All this stuff. I went away to Morehouse College. So Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. went, Sam Jackson went, Spike Lee. I was loving it. I got down there on campus and I was sick. I was homesick. Me, a cool dude from Detroit, my body physically got sick. I didn't understand it. I didn't know what it was about. I couldn't even walk up 3 flights of stairs. They took me out to down there too. There ain't no freeway off and on. I went all the way out to the country somewhere to go to the doctor. The doctor checked me out and said, "There's nothing wrong with you, man. You might be homesick." So what I'm telling you is, you can't get away from it. Something is going to happen. Let's talk about identity. A lot of these ladies may leave from being the top player on your team, being the man, if you will, and you come into another program, you got to start all over. That's called an identity crisis. Who am I? A lot of you may have a challenge, and this may be the last time you play basketball competitively. Concentration is very important. It's easier said than done. It's hard to concentrate when you got this thing in your pocket. That's your phone. I'm going to give you some concentration exercises. And I just told you a second ago, you got to be willing to do something that you haven't done to be successful. Sometimes you need to work on your concentration. Open up a book and count every word on the page. Count every word on the page to practice. Or count backwards from 100. Because that nanosecond you have to take to think about it is helping you with your concentration. You want to go further, take an orange and just look at it. And look at the little divots on it. Find a little spot on a piece of furniture and look at it and just remind yourself of it. You got to slow your brain down because this stimulation in your pocket, just, you're always just going, so you want to better slow it down. So those are some concentration exercises you can do. And I'm going to make myself available to you guys in the future if you want some of that. Maintaining proper motivation. What's your motivation? That's part of your goals. What are you really trying to get at? That's really important. Put something out there that's important to you. Maybe you don't want to share this to everybody. Maybe you don't. Maybe in your circle you do have haters, people who say stuff that's like, oh, you won't be able to get that. But what's your motivation? You got to have something out there you're motivated for. Also, confidence. We talked about that before. Every one of you should have a confidence bank, right? My daughter would say, "Dad, let's go get that." I said, "There ain't no money in the bank to get that. Got to be some money in the bank." So confidence bank is the same way. Go through your highlight reel. Go through that time you cross somebody over. Go through that time you hit the last shot. And remind yourself, it's not being egotistical. It's making sure you're giving yourself the right kind of mental hygiene to know that you can do this. I've done this before. Go through that and play that over and over in your mind. You may even have a YouTube video. Play that over and over. You got to have some confidence because nobody's going to come and just give you something to be confident about. You have to remind yourself that. We're almost out of here. It's been a great audience too, by the way. Forming healthy habits. I'm always careful to say I'm not judging anybody when I talk about what your habits are, but you know what you need to work on. It may be better diet. A lot of y'all screaming y'all want to go to the next level and play college basketball, but you eat junk. You can't do that. Can't do that and expect you to go next level. I'm not judging. Hot Cheetos in the morning and a Fago just really won't cut it if you're really trying to go there. I don't know what to say with that right there. Right? If you prepare for opportunities, you will be able to thrive under pressure. You will better say, "Oh, we got a shot? We got a chance? That's all I need." And that's what you guys can be prepared for. So when I talked to you earlier about this Phoenix moment, if there's anything I say that you feel that I want to move forward, don't let baggage from behind hold you back. Don't let whatever experience or trauma you may have had or what somebody said about you, what some off-the-wall crap somebody said about you that hurts you, hold you back. This is your Phoenix moment right now. You've been through this excellent camp. You got excellent people supporting you, and this is the time you can walk out of here a new individual going forward. forth. You guys have been an excellent audience, probably one of my best audience. I appreciate you. My information will be made available to Coach Orlando or Coach Blackwell or anyone else. And I'll be here later on throughout the day if you guys got any questions. But thank you very much, and I appreciate you guys.
Just reach out to him, and he's more than approachable, and he doesn't mind helping. So just reach out to him. We have contact information for you. Now we have Coach Sue, the head coach for Siena Heights University. She has been the head coach there for 18 years, making her the most winningest coach there all time. So y'all give a hand up to coach.
How many of y'all want to play college basketball? Okay. How many of you are here trying to make your high school team, maybe starting lineup? All right, great. Like I said, I'm Coach Sue, still Trebek. Don't ask me how to spell that. I mean, I can tell you, but you'll never get it right. That's why everybody calls me Coach Sue. It's just too much of a mouthful. But I have been at Siena Heights, actually. I finished up 17 years. 2 years ago, I was named athletic director, so I actually do both. And as he talked quite a bit about our time, as young people, but it's something more special that you're seeing now happening is us as women athletes or women role models that are actually being more of a voice through the NCAA. You watch the NCAA D1 championship, the whole thing about some of the pictures of the weight rooms, right? You follow that? It happened because somebody like you, 4 years down the road, had enough bravery, enough confidence, as he spoke about, to speak up. And my message to you before I get to Siena Heights is believe in yourself. He talked about, and he spoke 100%, you may have to be your own cheerleader. You might have to. I know Anaya Powell was her own cheerleader. Now I'm her cheerleader, but she had some rough times. She's had some rough times, but be confident in that and speak up, because I'll tell you what, I'm the athletic director now, and I've searched and hired 4 or 5 coaches already in my short time. And for women's positions, I get 75 male applications, and there's nothing wrong with it, but I get 75 male applications, and I might get 5, 10 women applications, and sometimes I go back and I ask, and they're like, well, I didn't think I was qualified enough. Well, I can promise you, the 75 applications from all the males I played were just as qualified as some of you. So, sorry, I get on a little tangent, but you're our next generation, and you have to have the confidence to be a head coach. You have to have the confidence to be a lawyer. You have to have the confidence to be a politician. And I hope you take that with you. I saw some hype Lady Coopers here. I saw some hype Lady Cooper bags. Who's played for? Yeah, I thought I saw some there. We've been out all summer recruiting, and Coach asked me to just talk to you a little bit about what we look for and what I look for. And what I look for, I'll promise you, is different than what Coach Carrie Lohr was in here and she looked for. Probably some similarities, but we go out, we watch it. We were in Indiana, we were in Tennessee, we were in Indianapolis, we were in Fort Wayne, we were in Chicago, so we've been all over. But first and foremost, we watch. Obviously, I'm not going to lie to you. You're on the court and you're playing, we're like, hey, who's that? Right? You probably see us all sitting at the line. We're like, so your talent, your skill level will open our eyes, right? Then we go back, and what I do is all those big books that we pay for, and we look down and we're like, okay, she's from Michigan, or she's from, really close in Ohio or not. And then we start watching. I start watching you more. And man, you hit it on the head. Body language is huge, huge, huge for me. Is it not huge for me? Is it good? We run for body language, okay? We run for it. And I understand, and we watch enough games that we're going to catch you at some point. Like, if you're just fronting, for the one game, we'll catch you maybe in the next tournament, and we watch. But the, county heads, or, constantly in the stands. I love your parents, I love your grandparents, your supporters. But, and I'm not saying not to listen to them, but when we're playing, we watch it. I watch it as a coach. Are you more involved in there, or are you listening to the coach here? And so those are some things that we watch all the time, and how you react. Are you a good teammate? All right, hey, Coach Anaya, because you might as well be. But we fall down, we take charges, and we're going to do some of that hopefully today. And we practice. We literally practice, if she's on the ground, we practice running to her teammates, and we all have to run up and we pick her up, you know? And that's just part of who we are at Santa Heights and our culture. And then if we don't run there fast enough, or we have somebody that's just standing back, right back, we go on the line. Because we believe that body language, that teammate, and being a good teammate to help that person up is so important. It's what's made us in our program successful.
You mentioned a number of things regarding your scouting process. So when it comes down to the nitty-gritty of making a selection, you've been in 6 different states, you looked at body language, you looked at work ethic, communication, some energy. What makes the difference? You selecting in a mirror or a cake crush or a Taylor Swift community coming to your program?
Well, yeah, I'll tell you, you know, because we get so many, your coach, you're right, we get about 5, 6, 7 players that are probably very similar. But I'll tell you the one thing that makes a difference for me is when somebody comes in and wants to be at Siena Heights, wants to be at Wayne State, wants to, they email me and Coach, hey, I watched your program, I want to be a part of it, you know, and you actually also can. This is my advice, and I hope you come to Siena, but this is my advice for you too. I just want you to be successful, as he said. Reach out to those people, email coaches. I'm going to introduce them. Please, if you have a few minutes, because this young lady right here is going to be a 5th year in our program. She's from Grand Rapids, East Kentwood. Came in from a semi-final state performance, state tournament. Made it to the state. You wouldn't think, you know, when she stands up that people at her height that she would make such an impact in our program. But she has, just because she's tiny, and you think, you know, you're saying college people need to be a little bit taller. But her heart is bigger and her fight is bigger than her size, that's 100%. But the best thing that she has done is she's so vocal. And I hope at some point, you know, I'm going to give you guys coaches some of my cards, but if you can come up to a game, or if you can come into Madonna or get over to Dearborn, we'll get you guys in, and you can catch a game with her. But she does a phenomenal job of reading. And what's most important for me to see and for you all to watch and follow is she understands that she might say the unpopular thing. She doesn't. She'll challenge her friends. Her best friend sometimes. She'll challenge her friends on the floor, but they all appreciate and understand it because she does it in a respectful way, a strong way, but respectful, and they know where it's coming from. They know it's from a place of being successful, a place of love, and I think that's important. So, Anaya, please share some of your stories.
I'm Anaya. I'm a 5th year point guard at Siena. My major is social work, so this is kind of along the tale of what I want to do in the future. A little bit like what you do is what I want to get into. But just my story. So I was born here in Detroit, grew up on the east side of East Point. Then my parents split, so we moved out to Grand Rapids, and that's where I grew up. So yeah, I was in high school at East Kentwood. My team was probably one of the, well, to us, I'm biased, was one of the top defensive teams in the state. Was the best team in the state that year, but even though we ain't winning. But yeah, so for me, like she said, I'm a point guard. So how many point guards we got in there? Okay, how many guards in general do we have? And how many folks? Raise your hands right here, you can see it. Y'all have to be different, y'all have to stand out. For me, defense and my vocalness is what stood out. I'm 5'2". I get my shot blocked all the time. All the time. I don't care. Right? She told me, Nay, that ain't the one. I'm like, whatever, I see the lane, so I took it. That's me. But you have to be different. You have to stand out. You have to be that voice. As a point guard, I was just telling him, just in guards in general, we are extensions of the coach on the court. So whereas everybody looks to her, right? On the court, there's 5 players, right? You are that coach on the court. So if she says or she sees something, I'll be like, I don't know, Coach. Like, I'll overrule her sometimes when I'm on the court, because I feel different. And if it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. But that's one thing too, the confidence thing. Coming in as a freshman, I was a backup point guard. So coming from high school where I'm used to being a main player, I'm used to having that role. Get out there, hey, I need to play that defense. I need to lead the team. I need to push the ball. You know, all that good stuff that they tell us guards to do, right? He recorded all games. So I'm watching film, right? What can I do to help my team here? Right? What could I, as a point guard, have done different? Right? So even if I'm on the bench, right? I know that as point guards, as guards, people look to us to know, like, okay, like, coach will tell us to play, but what, you have to communicate that, right? So if coach tell you to play, like, come down, we have a play called Huddleston basic, that's our basic motion play. So if I'm calling basic, right, and I'm just coming down basic, unless I communicate that, how are the other people gonna know what's around, right? Unless we communicate, unless you might want to go help out on the shooter, but unless you say, I got help, I got shooter, it might be 2 or 3 y'all running over there, let everybody say. So who's gonna be the one that opens their mouth to get over there? When your team's down, it's like, I'm just a positive person, right? If y'all met my mom, y'all know my mom is just like smiling, positive person, right? Just a bubbly person. So I come from that positive place. So when I see people hanging their heads, like we all probably seen the meme of I can't remember the team, the guy, his teammates are hanging his head. Yeah, UCLA, right? I'm the one that's gonna lift their head, right? Because you can't focus on the last one, you gotta focus on the next one. So I feel like a lot of just like growing up, the things that were instilled in me, the values my parents instilled in me, the coaches that I've, you know, learned from, that I continue to learn from, all have kind of like pushed me to be that vocal. Like, and just my teammates, like they need that. They need a leader. Every team needs a leader. It don't have to be 4 or 5. Every team needs a voice. Who's gonna pick that team up? Who's gonna cheer their teammates on? When somebody in their head, it's not always the coaches that are gonna be able to come over and get that teammate out their head, right? You're gonna need a leader or somebody to come step up and help your teammate, right? Coaches, they're not worried about what's going on the bench when they got a game going on, right? But you got a teammate that's over here, we all probably been through it, it's just not our game, right? We get in our head, we miss a shot, or we turn the ball over, or we might have 2 turnovers back to back, who knows, right? We get in our heads, right? But it takes one teammate, one person to just come over and lift that person up. How can I be able to get a look? It's not about this, right? It's not about, you can't go back and get that turnover back. You can't come around time and go get that back. No, right? You just can make something different happen now. You might be going through something right now, but we're here, right? Mindfulness, be present in this moment. We'll figure out what you got going on later. I'll be here. If we cry, we talk, whatever it is, I'll be here after this, but we gotta focus on right now. And so that's for that kind of play. So, I talk trash. I also loud, yell in your face. Like, I'm gonna say, oh yeah, that crossover weak, or I'm gonna take it from you. So, if I'm guarding, right, me guarding, man, I know my legs were right to work out yesterday. But if I'm here, right, so I'm here, I'm active. I'm ball. I got ball. Oh, that crossover weak. I'm ball. I'm taking it, right? That's me the whole time I'm guarding. When Coach Sue talks about, oh, don't listen to people and stand stuff, like, I barely hear her sometimes in the game. Like, I'm so locked in. Like, I'll look over to her, get my reassurance, make sure we good, and then that's it. But I'm just focused. I'm focused. I'm seeing who's where, who's what. Time and sport is important. Oh my goodness, time and sport is important. Knowing the clock. Y'all are all about to start playing with shot clocks in a few years, a year or 2 maybe for some of y'all. That's important. Knowing time and sport, right? Knowing when to speed the game up and when to slow the game down. These are all things that I think about as I'm playing. But while I'm on the court, it's just how can I put myself and my team in the best way possible to be successful.
Just take what these 3 of our charges are, try to apply to life and on the court. You know, they take it a long way and not tell me anything wrong. So just take what y'all took and, you know, just remember where it came from, remember where you guys are at in your life, you know what I'm saying, when it happened, so you can possibly see the change that has happened in your life from, you know, this conversation to, you know, in the future. Let's finish this week off strong, y'all. Y'all know the drill. We'll go out this way or, you know, go out that way. Let's get to it. Make sure we have fun at the end of the day.